This week on Video Game Tango, NVIDIA might be working on a holographic VR headset, and Phil Spencer takes shots at Meta. Along with that, Deep Rock Galactic is getting a massive content update in Season 3, the power cables on graphics cards are catching fire, and AMD will have no part in it. Then we've got a new Lord of the Rings game, The Witcher remake, Gotham Knights shitting the bed, and Overwatch 2 is stealing your wallet.
Nick here. French poet and aristocrat Antoine de Saint-Exupéry once said that perfection is attained when there is nothing left to be removed. He clearly did not play Overwatch.
Hi, I'm Josh, and remember this holiday season to avoid the spooky kooky.
My name's Andy, and this is Video Game Tango. Welcome back, everybody.
Hey,
Hello.
trick or treat, bitch.
Yes.
I don't
Smell my
sorry.
feet, bitch.
That was
wisely.
That was sorry. That was
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
That was super aggressive. Come out swinging this Hallows Eve, motherfucker.
That's right. I guess this is the Halloween episode of Video Game Tango. Hopefully this one isn't cursed like last year's. We'll see. That still hasn't come out. We'll figure out how to put that out someday.
I didn't wear my nun outfit this time, so this
God.
one,
God does exist.
Yep. Jesus is my co-pilot, and we are cruising for pussy. Let's do it. Yeah.
Go.
We're off to a start.
Go get it caught in a belly button ring. Yeah. So a little bit of follow-up on an article that we talked about last week regarding the new Meta headset and the metaverse. It looks like NVIDIA is jumping into the headset technology realm.
Okay.
They've issued a patent. So the technology company mostly known for its graphics cards, NVIDIA has applied for a patent for a new type of holographic VR display. The patent application seems to involve a display that is placed on a head-mounted gear that would work as a virtual reality headset. The explanation is difficult. It's a patent, so it's going to be very technical.
Okay.
NVIDIA's intentions are not on display in the patent application, and it's only a technical explanation of the potential technology, but this could prove to be one of the first gaming-focused holographic VR headsets on the market. So we were talking about the mix of AR and VR in Meta's new headset, and it looks like NVIDIA is taking this to another level by adding holographic technology to the VR overlays that can take place in that headset. So
like what they did with Tupac at Vegas at one time?
I don't know. There's no visual display of it yet, of course, but it's, just as a follow-up to last week is we were talking about how hopefully this gets the other companies into, development into this space as well, right? Because we want to see the technology go forward. We just don't want to see it in Meta's hands necessarily, right? I mean, Meta still has the guys that were behind Oculus working on their technologies, but it's still in the control of Meta, and they're trying to make this metaverse thing work, and I kind of fucking hate it. So to see another, like a potential competitor in this space jump into the realm, the likes of NVIDIA, who already has the backing to put out hardware, who can make native hardware for this kind of thing and can make it GPU accelerated, is cool. I mean, we're seeing a lot of AI development from NVIDIA as well. Like most of your self-driving cars, they're using NVIDIA chips, right? So
AI is terrifying. Yes.
For sure. But it's also really cool. I used AI to upscale the new podcast intro that we just watched a little while ago. So there's, other than the terrifying applications of AI, VR, AR, holograms, there's also really cool stuff that can be done with it, especially in the gaming side. Now, speaking of...
I can just put you in a cyber prison soon. You're just going to be in a fucking chair. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Matrix is happening.
It's a fun while it lasted kind of terror.
Or it's really cool that I never have to leave my chair and I live inside of VR for the rest of my life. That's also neat.
We'll need some Wally bots, homie. Someone to come in and flip us so we don't have bed sores and shit. But
yeah. I mean, they're gonna have to pay. Yeah, dude, I'm okay with a fucking robot.
That's going to be an extra premium monthly fee.
That's only for the one with the soft hands.
Right? I mean, earlier in the podcast, we were just talking about how, like, going back into the Vader egg, having to insert your probes, so
the catheter,
the catheters and whatnot, so you can do your poops. I want that.
Fucking based.
What?
Strong opinion over here.
Just drop me in the goo tank. I'm ready to go, baby.
That's what I'm.
Put me the fuck back in.
Listen, if our future is full of back to tanks with VR, I'm into it. So on the heels of the new NVIDIA announcement and the new Oculus announcement, or Meta headset announcement, Phil Spencer has some choice words to say about the metaverse.
He just vomited.
Yeah, kind of. No, it's neat. So there was a lot of bootlicking coming from the C-suites of these technology companies about the metaverse. And to see somebody as prolific as Phil Spencer coming out, the head of Xbox gaming division coming out and saying like, yeah, the technology is there and it's cool, but the implementation is fucking garbage, is good. I mean, that's the kind of thing that we want to come from our competitors' mouths, right? Especially when it's pointed at fucking Facebook, Meta, So Microsoft CEO of gaming, Phil Spencer, is quoted as saying, the metaverse is a poorly built video game. Which...
Ready Player None. Bitch.
Yeah.
It's a weird way to describe it.
It is a weird way to describe it, but effectively that's what it is right now, is like with Facebook being the sole developers of the metaverse and what seems to be like an unstructured development plan for what the metaverse is supposed to be. I've watched plenty of live streams of people in the metaverse, and despite the fucking me-style avatars that they have inside the metaverse, it just looks wonky. I mean, it's like one of the poorest implementations of VR so far.
It baffles me that like Second Life.
Yeah.
Second Life's been around for 9,000 years. Sure, they've had time to tweak and tune and go through all this stuff.
Half-Life, right?
But like, why didn't they just buy Second Life?
I know.
Take the devs from VR who's been doing this for decades and be like, hey, help us make something that doesn't look like the Wii menu had an aneurysm.
Yeah. Well, but also I kind of like that Meta is doing that. So that Meta is doing probably the poorest implementation of a VR, world.
Showing
Keep it up,
what's
guys.
possible.
It's
Right.
going
Trademark.
great. It's going great.
Well,
Keep it up.
I mean, when they can't keep up with VR chat, it's it's like they right now, as far as the market's concerned, the Meta Pro headset is the best in technology. That said, as soon as we get competitors in this space, it just is going to get better. Yeah. So I'm glad to see that we have the likes of NVIDIA, and hopefully we get Valve interested in VR again and get something new other than the Index. And there's HTC. Hopefully the Vive 3 or whatever iteration has some kind of AR technology built into it. And I want to see this space grow.
Yeah. I think the metaverse could be described as a Sega Saturn that sucks.
Well,
they're the first of their line.
Yeah.
But they're awful.
Not great. Not great.
Yes.
So yeah, just a little bit of follow up on what we talked about last week.
Okay. What is up next?
That's you with DRG, sir.
Deep is where we go. We got Deep Rock Galactic coming in hot and sticky and pussy. I know it's gross, but it's the truth. In a mere 7 human days, the asteroid planet of Hoxes will experience a flyby from a local plagued meteoroid covered in a lithophage that will be raining down noxious nonsense all over our favorite dwarves. I somehow 3-finger combo tapped the screen and I lost everything. So yes, Plaguefall, the new next season of Deep Rock, free as always, along with everything else, is coming November 3rd, according to the official post. They have since edited it to the 3rd. But yeah, we're going to be having new events. The rivals, the robots, are going to be taking a back seat. There will still be some rival action, but the new plague that is accompanying Hoxes is going to be the big new thing. We're seeing new grenades available, one for each class. I'm talking Shrimp on the Barbie, Electric Boomerang, War Crimes for the Driller. It's like a Beyblade on ketamine. The gunner managed to fit even more guns inside a grenade than you can imagine. And the engineer just said, I want teeth that are flying.
You had
tell
me.
you anymore.
You had me on Beyblade on ketamine.
Yeah, honestly, dude, the one place you don't want to be in a K-hole is with a Beyblade.
Yes, especially when the Beyblade is a 12-inch skill saw, right? But no, we're getting new missions, new mutators. There's a whole new mission type where you summon down essentially a kit of tools used to deal with this new plague, because you don't want it to touch you. You don't want it to breach your suit. Bad things happen, or full cordyceps-esque bugs. And when these meteor shards fall through the roof, you have a time limit to deal with them before things go very south very quickly. I've been really looking forward to this. My brother and I have been on a recent kick, trying to finish up
I want to get back into
this
DRG
battle pass.
now.
You know, it's great. It's all free. You can pay $7-10 to get a new. Okay, here's the thing. For the DLC cosmetics for Deep Rock, you get a new outfit framework for every dwarf. They can apply any color palette you have unlocked. You get a new weapon framework for every gun in the game that can also take any color palette you have. And it's like usually $7 to $10. I mean, talk about a comparison between that and Overwatch, right?
Yeah.
But even if you don't buy this season's Plaguefall cosmetic DLC, the new Battle Pass, which is free, is going to be full of new free cosmetics so you can unlock just by playing the game. Any cosmetics you didn't get in this most recent season just get put in the crates you can find mid-mission. So if you're playing along enough, you'll get everything that you missed out on. There is no FOMO in this game. Other than
what I can't believe is how they make money on how they're still in business when they give you things for free and you can earn stuff in gameplay. I don't understand.
They make money based off sales of the base game copy. It's got over 100,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. It is constantly topping even Reddit r/all with humor posts and news. And they have perfected the Left 4 Dead formula. I know I've talked about this game a lot. If you like anything to do with anything, you quote me on that.
Yeah.
You should play Deep Rock. It is worth a shot. Like I said, I've been having fun with Adam. I recently just finished unlocking all the overclocks for the guns, so I have full reign to play with all the different builds. We're rocking all the Halloween cosmetics. I got a giant pumpkin head I've been rolling around with. And, yeah. Look at that. That grenade's full of guns. Like, who needs an explosion when you can just fire bullets in every direction?
It's
right?
like a cannon that shoots typewriters, you know?
Exactly. So that is Deep Rock Plaguefall. Again, it's coming out November 3rd.
A game that cares about its players.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It's been an absolute blast. And I'm looking forward to cleaning up Hoxies.
Yeah, I can't wait for the new content to drop. It's gonna renew us going into Deep Rock Galactic, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, I want to back that dwarf news up with a bit more dwarf news. Now, while that lovely thing had gameplay and whatnot, sadly, my dwarf news was not accompanied with gameplay. The game we're going to be looking at is Return to Moria. Lord of the Rings tale, obviously. Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria. Now, this game is brought to us by Free Range Games. Now, we are going to be focusing here on the dwarves of the Fourth Age. So we will get a couple of familiar dwarf characters, mostly Gimli, I suppose, is going to be the
Gimli.
Mostly Gimli is going to be the one that everyone recognizes
And knows and loves.
Absolutely. Now, so what was in this sneak peek that was given to Nerd of the Rings, a YouTube channel, it gave us this particular gaze into the Palantir, provided us with some info on game mechanics and the dwarves in general. Now, a huge game mechanic is going to be the play of shadow and light and how you're using it to hide, to move, and to, of course, mine. And because you don't want to wake up things that are in the dark. The second big game mechanic that they released that is going to be play a huge role and just how you're playing the game is going to be the noise and how much you're making of it when you're mining and how much your like the enemies are making, where it's coming from. Now, being in a cave, I really hope they're doing the sound on this correctly, because that can be just like sort of a spooky kind of a feeling when you're hearing these noises, but you can't, especially with our headphones these days, where you're literally, moving your character to hear where sounds are coming from, right? So that's going to be, I think, a pretty choice mechanic. Now, of course, being dwarves, as dwarves are wont to do, you're going to be crafting and you're mining resources. You need to make something with them. So you're going to be crafting, and that's really going to be how you're adjusting your power and your power level in this game.
Okay.
From what the sneak peek is telling us here. So overall, a little bit more information from it, and there were, of course, go check out the interview, and you can get some of the screenshots and more of that stuff. But they did release some screenshots. I was middle of the road on the dwarves that I saw in the screenshots. Hopefully that's just what someone thought their dwarf should look like. And that they, tighten up and we get some gameplay soon. I want to see some gameplay, before I make a final call, but it's really cool to be jumping into some other Tolkien lore that isn't just the fucking alliance of men and elves. Like, come on,
Skywalker problem.
Exactly. They got the Skywalker syndrome. It's all elves and fucking Aragorn kings and shit, which is cool. They're cool, but
now, fortunately, Lord of the Rings has a pretty good track record in games.
They really do.
So
better than most.
Better than most, yeah. As far as movie to game property, they've made a lot of really good games.
Those movie tie-in games on the PS2, ooh boy.
Oh yeah,
I love those.
They were fantastic.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did look up Free Range Games. Their background is hit and a little miss. Of the good news, they did put out an Oddworld title that got pretty favorable reviews. They also did partner and are partnering with Striking Distance Studios. They work on the Callisto Protocol with them.
Okay, cool.
That's a title that's also been featured on the cast here. So
yeah. So they've got a wide range in their background of games. I'd say the one game that might have any kind of correlation has some good and some bad reviews, and that came out a couple years ago, Spelldrifter. So, this is kind of a wait and see. Again, I need to see gameplay before I make a decision.
For sure. Exactly. So, this is all coming with, Rings of Power just finishing up and Tolkien being back in, Lord of the Rings being back into a daily conversation that you could be having. So it's exciting just to get, some dwarf stories. I feel the dwarves are in 6 movies and 9 episodes of the Rings of Power. We haven't gotten a whole lot of dwarves. I want more dwarves.
Definitely.
There's always room for dwarves.
There's always room for dwarves.
Now again, as another follow-up, I've got some news from NVIDIA and the likes. We, on the last podcast, talked about the new 16-pin, 12-volt high-power connector that the latest graphics cards from NVIDIA are using.
Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out that while the ATX standard guys, that's PCI SIG, PCI SIG, the ones that develop the standards for ATX and things that belong in the ATX standard, said that the 12-volt high-power connectors that were going to be coming out to the public will have been fixed. The initial problem was that suffering any severe bends, 35 degrees or more in a case, was causing these cables to melt or smoke or, in some instances, catch fire. Now, PCI SIG and NVIDIA had partnered to create this cable in this form factor for use in future graphics cards. One of the key elements of it is that it was going to have a little PCB on board that is giving information back and forth between the power supply and the graphics card. So the power supply could be ready for things like massive graphics card spikes, which were really prolific in the 3000 series NVIDIA GPUs. So the PSU could get ready for that, right? So cool technology, but while they were developing proof of concept, found that those bends did result in some melting power cables and sometimes even damage to the graphics card. They said they had worked out the kinks, little pun intended, before launching to the public, but
now it'll just sleep with your wife instead of burning your house down. No.
2 Reddit users have shared their stories. One saying that they were getting a bad smell from their computer after recently installing their 4090, and found that their cable had started to melt. Shortly after, another Reddit user came out and said that he was experiencing the same problems, but his resulted in a little spark and some smoke. So far we have 2 Reddit users that have shared pictures and indicated that these cables are probably not ready for the public use. Being that it is the only graphics card from the new series that we have now is the highest tier, the $1,600 RTX 4090. And how small the launch it was in the less than tens of thousands of cards. We already have 2 examples in the first week post-launch that these cables may not be well built enough for public use. Yeah. So
this isn't the kind of stuff you want to cheap out on, and it's not the kind of stuff you want to mess around with.
When you're dealing with that much wattage, that much voltage, and extreme power spikes coming from your graphics card,
much, and the fucking price tag on that motherfucker,
exactly,
dude. If it melts the
your PC could catch on fire.
Yeah, like if your fucking graphics card is $1,600, then I'm imagining you have a lot of other fucking hardware in there. So if the motherfucker catches on fire, that's setting money on fire, baby.
A V12 and a Huffy,
No.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking like minimum build is going to be $2,500 for these PCs, and that's in the low end. That's it. If you're not going absolute highest tier, which you should be to match your 4090. Yeah. So we could be talking.
Set an 02 Corolla on fire instead.
Yeah, effectively, right? In some cases, you could buy a used car instead of a graphics card, and you might be better off having spent that money that way.
Fire.
It's sadly enough, with all the gasoline that's inside of it, it's probably less likely to catch fire.
Get a 1982 Honda Odyssey.
On the heels of that, real quick, AMD Team Red, otherwise known as.
They got gang colors now?
Oh, yeah. There's Team Red and Team Green for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So AMD will not be using the Gen 5 16-pin 12-volt high-power connectors.
Shit catching on fire.
On Radeon RX 7000, the RDNA 3 GPUs. So everybody's kind of waiting with bated breath. And NVIDIA knew this in their launch to get out the 4000 series as quickly out the door as possible because they wanted the headline attention, right? So that's why we got an earlier than anticipated launch for the 4000 series, is so they could be first to market. AMD biding their time just a little bit and developing their technology. As a little guy, it takes a little bit longer. But also has been able to see the horrible outcome of the 12-volt power connector, and has said that they will not be using them. Instead, they will be sticking with the traditional 6 and 8-pin power connectors. The only scary part about that is if the power consumption on these cards follows trend the same way NVIDIA has, is you will be using up to 4 8-pin power connectors for your graphics cards.
Oof.
That's a lot of pins.
Yeah.
That's a lot of space used up.
And it's a good reason to have an 850 watt plus power supply.
Hope you enjoy a high power bill.
Yeah. So yeah, these cards are power hungry, guys, and the 16-pin power connector doesn't seem to be
okay, he's just a little guy
doing a good job here. You got a spider?
Yeah.
Josh is playing a scary game after this cast, and even the sight of a tiny house spider has him.
I mean, he was bright and he came out
came in a good clip.
It's just a spooter. Let me see him.
See, guys?
There's a little parrot spider.
Oh. Jump on his face.
He will jump if you startle him too much.
Yeah.
But if you startle him just enough, they
kill him. I don't want him in my house.
And they do this.
What?
Make him dead. Or outside.
No.
Or outside.
I will take him outside.
Hold on, guys. Nick's being a good Samaritan here.
We'll get back to the news as soon as the emergency is taken care of.
Yeah. There he goes. What? Now he's loosening the house.
As long as they can't envenomate me, I don't give a shit, really.
He won't hurt.
Yeah, it's better than our Black Widow problem.
Go fight the widows.
Yeah, that's right.
He won't last long.
Is it massive or is it just close?
No, it was close.
It was close. All right. So sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
I saw it moving and it had orange flecks on it. It startled me.
Moving on to the next topic.
Is me.
Come on.
We're talking about the CD Projekt Red thing or the Gotham Frights?
CD Projekt
Either.
Red. Yeah,
Either.
Yeah.
Both.
The CD Projekt Red thing is quick enough. We can squeeze it in here. So CDPR did announce through the codename, I believe it was Canis Majoris, that they plan on remaking the original Witcher. The studio doing so, Fool's Theory has done work on Divinity Original Sin as project support, Baldur's Gate 3 as project support, so it's both Larian Studios. They also worked on Gord and Outriders, which...
Yeah.
But they're listed all as product support. So this is a company that works for other companies for the most part. They have their own title, looks like here 7. But yeah, they're essentially remaking the first Witcher. I played the first Witcher. It was a love letter of a game. It was buggy as shit.
Yeah.
I got maybe 3 hours into it because of how janky it was. But you could tell that there was some heart there. I don't know enough about the Witcher storyline. Our local Witcher expert is not here with us because he's currently burning alive in another state. But with that said, that's pretty much all anyone knows is that they plan on remaking this. CDPR still has another project that they're working on, Project Sirius, which is being made by Flame and the Flood developer. So we're not sure what that is exactly, but just wanted to get that information out there that if you do really like The Witcher, you might actually get to play the first Witcher game, which is good news. But also, just because it happens to be me in rotation, I'm looking forward to Josh's opinion on this. The new Gotham Knights game, which we talked about last podcast, the requirements for that, is bombing hard. Even the major AAA news outlets are pooping on it. Like straight out of that Darth Vader catheter egg. Every review I read that's negative has their own reason for disliking it to the point where it doesn't seem like there's a corner of this game that managed to satisfy in any way.
Yeah.
It's a washed out milk toast version of the Arkham Knights you know and love, that for whatever reason, that you pick, because really there's a lot of them. Pretty much anything you can say at this point is bad. It's not worth your money, not worth your time. I know you've played a lot of the Arkham games.
I have. I've played, I think, all but one of the Batman games.
Okay.
And I mean, I really enjoyed the storytelling in it. Sometimes, like, you know, the fighting can get a little button mashy. You know, you're excited about it for, like, in taking down people, but the combat, you can get a little button mashy. But then if you started getting the combos, it was good stuff. But the storytelling in the games was really cool. And I was also really looking forward to getting to do co-op in the games. But it just seems bad across the board, from clearly bad optimization for those high settings.
Yeah, PC Gamer's review was done on a 3080 Ti with an i9 processor and 32 gigabytes of RAM, and they still had multiple crashes and stutters and problems and bugs. So
yeah, it goes back to what we've been talking about for a long time, is better game optimization. These AAA titles are coming out with some of the worst optimization ever. I mean, they already have AMD processors in the PS5 and Xbox Series, and they're, well optimized for those. It should be a really straight direct port to PC, but for some reason, they don't seem able to do a good job of optimizing these games for hardware that isn't static.
yeah,
It's really sad because, honestly, Gotham Knights, while it doesn't look bad by any means, it's got some pretty good graphics. Doesn't look like anything else that I haven't played already.
Sure.
That plays fine on my lowly 2080 Super and 5800X 3D that I have in my machine. That's like medium specs for this game. That's ridiculous, and that's for 1080p gameplay.
Yeah.
It's that poor optimization, bad code what seems like to be what seems to be rushed.
And all of that at a high price tag.
Yeah.
So
It's a
like
full price game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's which and like we talked about last time is last week is $70. So I mean, that's a whole lot of sizzle and not a lot of steak.
So, I mean, if we want to get into specifics from a few reviews I read, they introduce a antagonist that is pretty deep in the Batman comic series, but little seen outside of that. The Order, the Owls.
The League of the Owls or the Owl League. Yeah,
they're the aristocratic elite of Gothic working behind the scenes, and apparently they drum them up as this big thing.
The
and
Gotham Illuminati.
That like peters out super quickly and has no influence in the story. There's next to no changes to the city itself throughout the game, like there used to be in the other Arkham games. So the city itself feels bland and samey. All the powers you had as Batman have essentially been split up in a week into between 4 different characters. That said, one of these reviewers was able to play as like Batgirl for 90% of the game because the abilities weren't even needed. And then at the times when they were, you did co-op. He said it was like playing a really bad raid boss in a bad MMO. So yeah, this feels like a rush job, an attempt to do some money grabbing based off your prior love of the Arkham games. So do not recommend.
No good. Yeah, when IGN is giving it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah,
when
it's really low.
When PC Gamer is giving it a 49%.
Well, and then they're also because this is from Rocksteady still, right?
Yeah.
So now I think I was reading an article just today that the creators of the heads of
the original founders of Rocksteady,
they're gone.
Yeah.
As soon as the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game comes out. So, I mean, I don't know if it's trying to like develop 2 games almost side by side, or if it's problems at the top, or if it's just that kind of general AAA laziness, give us your money attitude at this point. But it seems like a pass on all fronts. Batman died for nothing.
It's hard to theorize why founders would leave a gaming company. But we've been seeing it from Activision Blizzard. We've seen it most recently from CD Projekt. Actually, one of the 2 founders left CD Projekt last week, and now we're seeing founders from Rocksteady leaving. A lot of these super high C-suite guys are leaving, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that they now have investors to please, they've gone public, and they're no longer allowed to see their visions through, and they have to put out games that they're not 100% behind. Yeah. So we're beginning to see it's hard to cry in your pancakes over a fucking CEO leaving their job.
Yeah,
right? But,
for sure.
At the end of the day, if they're not able to do their passion projects, the reason they got into gaming and the gaming industry in the first place, then it's understandable why they might leave.
Yeah, I think we'd know by now if you follow. I mean, it's like every industry. The moment a company gets too big, you can't keep holding on.
Yeah,
you
got to let it die and start something new.
Yep,
it goes in cycles.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Activision Blizzard.
Boy, the real spooky season has begun. So Halloween Terror 2022 has stricken Overwatch. Now, Overwatch 2, rather. Now, this bad boy is going to be running till November 8th, so don't fret. It doesn't just end on Monday. Now, if you're a fan of the Overwatch games, then you'll have played the Halloween specials beforehand, Junkenstein's Revenge, Now, this year, of course, things be a little bit different. Now, they're they're offering a few bundles. Now, you can get that standalone Junker Queen skin. It's one of the only standalone things that they have right now, and that's going to set you back $19 for that skin. That one standalone skin. Now,
hold on, standalone skin. When we're talking standalone skin, that means a single skin for one player.
Yes.
Or for one hero.
One character.
Mm-hmm.
One character.
Skin for one character.
One skin, one character, $19. Okay. Now, wanted to make
Podcast
sure.
over.
I just had to pause for a second so that it could soak in.
Yeah.
Now the next price break bundle is going to be the Kiriko bundle. Now she is a new character. She's very popular, little OP. Now her bundle, it comes with a skin, a seasonal legendary skin for her. It also comes with a weapon charm, an icon name card, and a seasonal highlight intro. So a few items. This is going to set you back $26. None of them are purchasable individually. Like if you don't give a shit about the name, icon plate, and all that crap, and you really just want the skin for your new favorite character, well, you can't. You have to spend the whole $26. Now you have to spend $26 because it costs 2,500 coins, but they don't have a 500 or 26,000 coins or whatever, but they don't have a 500 coin option. So you have to purchase the next fucking set up, making it, they've done it the most mathematically
classic mobile game
dick
logic.
way that they can do it, right? Now, if you say, for some reason haven't been able to get your shit to port over, or you really want like that cool skin that your homie has that has been able to port his stuff over, for 4 old skins that I have and I paid zero money for because I earned them through gameplay, will cost you $44.
Wow.
$11 a skin for old skins that you got for free through RNG. And what I thought was the most like detestable system, the loot box system. Everybody remember that? How like 2 years ago that was like the fucking biggest dump on the plate.
Yep.
I would go back for seconds. Give me the loot boxes back. I was wrong. You can do worse.
Chat brings up a good point. Kiriko isn't unlocked for free until you get to level 55 of the battle pass. If you do not get to that and you go and do something silly like buy a skin for a character you don't have unlocked yet, we still don't know what's going to happen when the battle pass is over for those people who haven't unlocked Kiriko. Like, you might not have that character.
Well, they'll probably have it up on the store for $50.
Oh yeah, if you want to pay money.
$80.
Yeah. So on top of all this, if you actually wanted to play Overwatch, you can. But what they'd rather you do is watch Overwatch on Twitch, because if you do so for 4 hours, you will get the Werewolf Winston skin. The only skin you can get for quote unquote free during this whole event is gotten by not playing the game, but by watching other people play it.
So, I mean, just to just to set these aside, the very first Overwatch Halloween special had nearly 90 earnable items, things ranging from sprays to poses to the really neat little headstone things where your character was dead and they had their own headstone. They didn't even bother with that for the 3 new characters. It had literally close to 90 items that you could earn. I earned almost at least half of those items just playing the game. And then they were at a reasonable coin purchase, which again, you got by playing the game that you could buy next season if you didn't get them. So like, I mean, I thought the system before I complained about it so much, little did I know I was, a child of summer, and now winter is fucking here.
And winter costs money.
So this wonderful Halloween season, Blizzard offers us tricks, no treats.
No treats.
No cookies for us.
So for the price of a Junker Queen skin and a Kiriko skin and all that, you could just buy Deep Rock for yourself and all your friends.
Yeah. and that's what I was saying, and that's what I was saying in chat earlier was you could literally, for the cost of 2 skins in Overwatch, you could buy Deep Rock Galactic and a skin pack.
Yeah. So there you have it, folks.
So if you take anything from this week's podcast, go play Deep Rock Galactic.